Hi.
Can
you hear me?
What's up, Tiffany? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The first thing was I was just going to ask if you could introduce yourself for the listeners.
Yeah, of course. My name is Tiffany Caroline, and I'm the founder of Tiedto nonprofit organization here in D.C., Washington, D.C.
What is the organization all about?
Okay, Tiedto is a nonprofit organization, and the acronym itself is very detailed, but let me start with the mission. Our mission is to inspire young teens to dress for success by providing them with valuable information and advocacy they need for social change with everything that's going on in the world. A lot of our young men have turned to drugs and alcohol and just don't have no self-love, don't have no love for life, don't care, depressed, which some people seem to overlook. And I just wanted to be an advocate for some of these people by me working in a hospital and seeing this stuff firsthand. I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to be an advocate and do something about it.
Right.
So it was very important for me. And God gave me the chance and opportunity this year during COVID and gave me the motivation, including my daughter. And we put it into play. And now it's here. So, yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah.
what happened. Oh. Can I explain what the acronym stands for? Because a lot of people want to know what Tiedto stands for, and it's very detailed. That's why I tell them just visit the page. But since we're doing this conversation, Tiedto stands for Teens Interested in Educational Demeanor while Transitioning with Optimism. Does that make sense?
Yep, it makes a lot of sense because something that you just said, changing the mindset. One thing about Spring On, I think a lot of the teachers were encouraging, but I went through a lot of hearing adults, and it's something that they need to change. The saying of, you're going to end up dead and locked up, I hate that. Why would you tell a child you're going to be dead or in jail, right? Because they're smoking or drinking, and you're standing in their face alive, right? You're not dead. You're not in jail. So be honest with the child. Your past is your past, right? You forget that at one point you was the same 16-year-old high walking in school. I know I was. You see what I'm saying? I was, and I'm not afraid to talk
We're
about
not perfect.
Right.
I used to work with this neurosurgeon, and one day we was talking about the parts of the brain, and then we started talking about adolescence. And I was telling him, why do teenagers act up so much when they almost close to adulthood? He said because between the ages of 13 and 17 is when a child needs the most love in their whole entire life. I said, why you say that? He was like, because that's the part of the brain, the parietal, the frontal lobe, the parietal part, where you do all your thinking, it shuts down from those periods. So everything else is working except for that part. Where your common sense and all that stuff come into play, all that shuts down in between those years. So he said, if you got any teenagers or kids in that age range, you need to love them, hug them, and talk to them all the time. Because their minds are wandering. The other parts of their minds are the storage part, the part where they store their vision, all that is like in chaos. So they're not really thinking clearly. They need you.
You have to watch, too, who comes in contact with your kids. Because when you were just describing the neurology, that stuff, I can't even pronounce the word. I'll edit that out. You know what word I'm talking about. What word did you just say? What's the word you said? Neurology?
No, neurosurgeon. They actually did surgery on the brain. Neurosurgeon.
Yeah, those. Because, look, that word, right? That's what I'm saying. I work with my daughter, right? I have a degree in psychology and all that, and I want to help teach kids. It's another thing that's important to change your circle. If you have somebody and you have a T-shirt and a group of people say, that's a stupid idea. It's not so much that it's a stupid idea, and it's not so much that the person is a bad person. It's just that's not your crew. You got to just say, oh, okay, appreciate you, good talk, and you go, surround yourself with your tribe, with who runs with you. And that's what, like when I see you put the suits together, I see the little men in the suits, and like I said, I was like, I need to help out in some way. That's the whole thing. What I want to do is help in a way of getting people to understand. It's and not so much that you're.
This is a good way of getting the information out there. I love what you're doing, Willie, and I appreciate that you chose me to do this podcast with you, because like the end of Tiedto, with the meaning of the end, the 2-part transitioning with optimism. That's an important. Because if you don't change your environment, if you don't change your surroundings, you're in bondage.
Right, and that's why I said, and I don't. Go ahead.
You don't see no way out, and that's why when I was recruiting the young guys, a lot of people didn't show up, but the ones that did show up, I appreciate it because they want change. They young, they see that it can happen.
We had a dude in our school, I'm sure you remember, named John Buchanan, right?
That was the teacher, right?
Yeah, JB.
They used to play for Red Essence.
Right. All right, we had this dude. You know what it's like to walk in to a school, being a young black man, and see a black man that not only plays in a band, but teach science.
Right.
See, you understand what I'm saying? So my mind is built different. And this dude is still on my friend list right now, so I still watch him. I still study him. I had like 3 male teachers, 3 guys that I had in real important stages. Like I had Mr. Penn, who was my 5th grade teacher. Then I had a teacher named Mr. Johnson, when I had moved to North Carolina for a year. Again, both of these teachers are still on my friend list, and I still study both. Just like I still study Mr. Buchanan.
Let me tell you, my daughter was in a business program at H.D. Wilson, and she had to go on a job interview. So I said, where you going with that on? She said, I got a job interview. I said, so the program don't teach you etiquette? She was like, what you mean? I said, they don't teach you how to dress for the interview? That should be the main point of focus. I said, you don't wear that to an interview. So I pulled up online and showed her the different wears that you wear for an interview, for business. And she was like, oh, I said, yeah, this is what you wear. You don't wear that. So that's what I mean by being engaged in what your children are doing. Because I'm still engaged. My kids are grown, my older kids. I'm still engaged in what they do. And I still advise them on what I think is appropriate and not appropriate. And that's why I can say I have beautiful young ladies, respectful young ladies. Because if you're teaching them as they grow, it don't start when they get grown. You got to start this stuff when they're young, elementary school. And they need to know, and these kids need to know that somebody has their back. But it's a way that you address situations, too. Because kids can play on situations at the same time. Right. You know that, right?
And you have to make sure they understand you had it back, but if it's the right thing, like you can't just, they can think like, okay, if she said that once, then I can keep saying anything about any teacher, and I'm going to get my way. That's why I say it's a balance in that.
Tiedto is going to become my baby because I plan to help as many as I can. We all fall short of the glory of God. I'm not perfect. I ain't trying to be. I'm a sinner too. But I know one thing. I was put on this earth to help somebody, and that's what I plan to do. We got a lot of things that we're going to be doing this coming year, 21. But this Saturday, we having a fish fry down at Marvin Gaye Park, formerly known as Watts, from 2 to 6 p.m. to raise money for the organization. Because I wanted to have like a formal Christmas party. No athletic wear, so the guys can dress up and show what they can do. And then I have awards for them. Raffle tickets for the best dress and all that. So, yeah, we got some fun and exciting things for young men.
And where did you say that was at?
Marvin Gaye Park, formerly known as Watts Field.
Okay, so it's outdoors.
It's outside, yeah. And the flyer is on the post if you have IG, Instagram, Tiedto.outreach. You can follow us at Tiedto.outreach on Instagram. Right now, my daughter's trying to create a website. We just got our photos when we did our photo shoot in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago. So she's going to design a website for Tiedto.
And that's what I was saying. What you're saying is the same thing like what I was saying about the page that I created when I said we are family love. What it is like you said, it's basically what I'm trying to do is like what you spoke about, where you're saying it's any young person, or honestly even it could be a parent that may be dealing with something with the kid that they feel like because it's not, like I said, it's not that you're failing. It may just be something that your child needs to hear, a fresh voice. Or you get what I'm saying?
Or they might have an underlying problem that you're overlooking.
Right.
Because it's possible. See, the one thing that they have, they think that black people is, we can't fall short. We these strong people, we can't have no issues.
Right, and that's the point. Right, you're supposed to just deal with it, and that's not true. And that's something that, like I was saying, it's what my daughter fights through, and I just want to make sure that other people you recognize and make sure they're not fighting, like you just said, underlying issue. Sometimes you just look and you say, it's a video game, it's this or it's that, or you get what I'm saying? It's something, and you're blaming something else when really it could be something else wrong. And if you can find that out, sometimes, it can help a lot. And to be honest with the kids, sometimes just the fact that you're trying to find out can lift their spirits more than anything in the world, because sometimes, like you said, with your brain can tell you that nobody cares, and that's why when I said your mind is something that if when you said tied to somebody else saying, and not only you, your whole group, it's like everybody saying, we got you. What did you have to say? Was it something else you needed to say? You get what I'm saying? What was you,
yes.
Did you talk? Keep talking. I got time. If I don't, right this minute, text me. I'll read it when I get it. You get what I'm saying? And if I don't got time, contact this person. Like you said, it's definitely it has to be a family. It has to be everybody reaching out for everybody, not just. So that's why I said I wanted to do the call. Well, like I told you, I said I wanted to do the call like I want. It's not something I like doing, but it's just something. It's something that I felt that needed to be done, and I know, like I said, I may not be able to get up there, but I do still have people up there that can reach there for me and be involved.
And I appreciate all this, Willie, because in the spring I want to do a big workshop where we recruit mentors and motivational speakers, but also I want ordinary men to come in and teach young boys how to tie a tie. It's something simple where you can come up here, you can display your or promote your businesses and all that, but we're going to be focused on teaching young guys how to tie ties and then having them speak about what they want to do. Where do they see themselves in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? You know what I'm saying? Because the school systems are not doing that anymore. Remember they used to have career day? Their career days are not like it used to be when we was going to school. And so I just want to, like, open that chapter back up and just be an impact on some child's life. That's all I want to do.
Yep, and you're doing that already, so
I appreciate it.
And then that's on top of what you do in the hospital. So, like I said before, I know that's why I wanted to call and do the call just to show appreciation for both, for what you do doing your regular job and then what you do out with the kids. And I see a lot of my guys that I went to Spring On with that doing a lot of good things, and that's another reason I want to be able to talk and help, with see all my brothers and sisters, see y'all doing stuff. But I'm in North Carolina, so I figure with the social media presence, I can help in that way because I'm proud of a lot of y'all. And the last question that I had was if you could leave, like, any inspirational message or Bible verse, favorite quotes, just something to encourage the listeners.
What I want to say as a leader is that for our Black community, our culture, is that we are one. And the more we unite, the stronger we become. And it's imperative that we get involved and step up to the plate in our communities because we are losing our children at an alarming rate. And this has to stop. Parents are losing their children at alarming rates, and this has to stop. We cannot adapt to this kind of violence in our communities. We need to turn our culture around and connect, re-educate, support our children, and rebuild our people. Because guess what, Willie? We are tied to one another, whether we like it or not.